guys, and welcome to Thirsty Thursdays with a therapist. My name's Jaleisha Gatling, and I'm a couples therapist at Let's Unpack Therapy, where I help couples to unpack the baggage that gets in between their relationships. Now, today's topic around quenching the thirst in your relationship is better late than never. Now, better late than never. This is around time, our different relationships to time, and how there's oftentimes this opposite, there's this dynamic in a relationship where one person tends to be very on time or very early, and the other person not so much, and that can brew a lot of tension within a relationship over time. I'm finding that as couples try to navigate this, that they really are speaking and trying to navigate this this conflict on a very surface level, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because there's a lot of questions that are not being asked or things that are not being explored when we're talking about being late and being on time. I really want to break it down to our relationship with time. So generally, lateness is thought of as being inconsiderate, disrespectful, and just kind of overall bad. I'm not saying that lateness is this great thing, but if it's a reoccurring problem, you really have to be curious about what is feeding that pattern, because a lot of times you'll hear one partner say, well, I tried it at the door and it just, the trains are really crazy, traffic, it's raining, just like all kinds of random stuff that seem to always get in the way or happen on a very frequent basis. And so what are some other meanings to someone who might be late consistently? Like what things might actually be playing out that we're not talking about? One thing I thought about is being productive. If we all are kind of socialized, especially in Western society, that we need to be productive with our time. We need to utilize our time in a productive manner. We are ending the year with vacation days left over. We're not taking breaks throughout the day at work. We are kind of always on this this spiral to just go. We got to keep busy. We got to keep busy, and we have a really hard time giving ourselves permission to relax and to be in the moment. Right? And so with that playing out, with that very common narrative that a lot of us are operating on and living out, I can imagine that being late is not because you don't care or you're disrespectful of other people's time, but that you are trying to avoid being early because that could be a waste of time. You know, I might get there early and I could have gotten XYZ done, or I could have stayed a little bit later. So let me kind of try to get there right on time so that I don't waste any time. I mean, what does that sound like to you guys? I think that could be playing out subconsciously, and your partner might not even have the access or the words for that, but it's something that I like to explore with sessions with my couples. Another thing that might be contributing subconsciously to someone being late consistently is social anxiety. Getting there early or getting there on time before people have arrived could really produce a lot of anxiety, and wanting to avoid that might make you subconsciously pitter-patter around the house a little bit longer, or take your time getting to the train. Maybe the train's coming and you could have made it, but you don't jump on because you're like, I have plenty of time, but subconsciously you're wanting to avoid getting there early. And I'm talking about situations where maybe you and your partner are coming from work or from different spaces. I'm talking about in the city, in New York, where we're usually traveling on train, and we might be coming from different places or coming from work, and we're meeting somewhere, or we have a date set up or something, and this person is consistently late. Another thing that might be brewing up consistent lateness is you being an attention seeker. You know, maybe you have some stuff to work out where you are only comfortable if you're one of the last people to arrive, or you come in full swing, and perhaps you even have the story of why you were late. You know, I mean, that sometimes is playing out subconsciously. And another thing that people don't tend to think about is that someone who is consistently late can sometimes be looked at as someone who's really optimistic and positive, which is a great attribute, an attribute that we would like in our friends and in our relationships, where they are not focused on avoiding traffic, or that there might be really bad traffic, so let me leave really early. That they are saying, hey, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay, which isn't such a bad thing. And so I'm pointing all these things out because I think a lot of times we approach someone who's consistently late with them just being a bad person or someone who doesn't care. And I think some of these other things might be playing out that has more to do with them than with you. And sometimes I think that can create space for us to kind of move more towards the middle and compromise. Now, for the people that are consistently early, there's usually a lot of anxiety around avoiding being late. Whereas the person who's consistently being late may hate the thought of getting there early. It's the same flipped around for a person who insists on being early, where they want to control not being late because there are very negative associations that they have with that. And that could be, what does that mean about me if I come in later, or if we come in later, if my partner comes in late? What are people thinking about me? Does that mean that I'm disrespectful? I don't want to have that kind of reputation. I want to be in control to avoid that. And I think the meanings that I listed earlier, as far as being respectful, considerate, trustworthy, dependable, like those are all positive attributes. And people that tend to want to be very early tend to want to keep those attributes attached to them. Now, I just think it's so interesting with Western society how we're always talking about go, 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 be busy, be productive, use your time correctly, use it wisely. But then at the same time, we're like, be in the moment, slow down and be in the moment, but be on time. And it's almost like this contrast, and it's bound to create some tension. I mean, what's that saying? Slow down and smell the roses. It's like, slow down and smell the roses, but also make sure you plant the seeds and water it appropriately with the right timing so that they bloom by March 15th at 3:14 p.m. It's like we're throwing these two different things of being in the moment, but also being on time. And I'm not saying anything against being on time. I'm not saying that that's not necessary or beneficial in situations, but I think it can put us in kind of a whammy. Now, I'm going to end on you guys exploring different scenarios to adjust to your different senses of time, where maybe you both don't go to this event together, or maybe can you learn to accept that your partner might be a little late? Can you not pressure one partner to be early with you, or be drug along with the late partner and have an attitude all night? Because you have to think about what's at stake by doing all that, like the energy that you're expending by calling your partner, texting, where are you? And let's say they do get there on time, or they're not that late, and you're so worked up from all the anxiety of them not being there on time. It's not even usually a joyful event, and kind of takes away from the moment. So where can you guys give a little bit? Where can you be a little bit more flexible? I think you can find the way to being more flexible by asking some of these questions and being really curious about your own relationship with time. So I'll leave you guys with that. Leave me a comment about your thoughts. If you guys have something else that you'd like me to expand on with time, or questions that you had, please shoot me a comment and let me know. In the meantime, I want you guys to make sure that you are here next Thursday, because we are talking about the Heartbreak Hotel. It's time to check out. I am going to be talking about the breakup. After a breakup, the ending of a relationship, I want to talk about navigating, healing, and moving forward in a healthy way. I work with couples who come to me who are deciding that they want to dissolve their marriage, or that they've decided that they do want to end it, but they want to do so amicably, and they want to move forward in really healthy ways. And I also work with individuals who are going through a breakup or a divorce. And I really want to talk about some of the things that we do to keep ourselves stuck, and what I like to call Heartbreak Hotel, where we check in and we don't check out. We're not actively moving forward, and we're doing things that are kind of self-sabotaging. So I want to talk about that next Thursday. Join me for that. In the meantime, if you guys found anything useful that you might want to further explore in today's episode, please go to my website, www.letsunpacktherapy.com, and give me a call. You guys can set up a phone consultation with me, and we can talk about if we might be a fit to work together. I will see you guys next Thursday at the Heartbreak Hotel.